Welcome to WiseTake.com. This is CKO13 bringing you another NBA DFS podcast. It's Friday, January 13th, 2017. We've got a nice 9-game slate today. Last night was a complete crapshoot for me. I played a lot of cash, played KCP in cash on a late pivot. That's what kills me. And, I do that all the time. I do these late pivots. Literally, I think there was like 2 minutes to lock. It's like 7:28, and I decided to change my cash lineup. And the lineup that I changed, it from, did pretty good. I think 309 was the total points, so I would have cashed in all my cash games. Instead, I pivoted to this other lineup to fit Durant in, which I didn't even need. I had Barnes in originally. He was good enough and much cheaper. And I got burned. So stick to your gut. I mean, that's something that I need to do myself. I keep doing these late pivots. I freak out at the end, and I just screw myself. But hopefully you don't do the same. Stick with your gut. I'm going to try to stick with my gut from now on. Yep, that's what I'm going to do. So let's get started on this. Excuse me. Let's get started on this large 9-game slate. We don't want this to run too long. First game is Charlotte at Philly. Total is 209.5. Charlotte is favored by 4 currently. Jeremy Lamb is out. Batum, Zeller, and Embiid are all probable. Kemba Walker's okay here. We're going to start with Charlotte, obviously. To me, he's too expensive. Obviously, we know his home and road splits. Don't get me wrong. I think it's a good matchup against McConnell. I don't think McConnell's going to be able to contain him. But with Batum back, I think his usage goes down a little. So I'm not big on Kemba today. I could do without him. I do like Batum today. He's 7,500 on FanDuel. I think on DraftKings he's only 69. So he's much more fair on DraftKings. But still, I mean, he's Batum, and he's up against the Sixers, a team not really known for their defense. The only thing that worries me here, if he plays the 3, I think he's solid. But if he's going to actually play the 2, then Philly's actually not terrible against the shooting guard position. But when you look at who's going to be guarding him, it still seems like a matchup issue. Regardless if Covington guards him, Henderson, Stauskas, I don't see a way they contain Batum here. And he could go pretty low owned just because shooting guard, you got some studs and then you have value. So I think that a guy like Batum could easily go overlooked. Bellinelli's interesting. I wonder if he'll be chalky today because he's going to take Lamb's spot. Obviously Batum's back, but Bellinelli should see minutes backing up MKG at small forward and minutes at shooting guard backing up Batum. So Bellinelli at 4,100, I think he's interesting. Get a gauge for how many minutes you think he'll play because that's going to determine how well he does today. But against Philly, I'm not worried. But yeah, moving on to the small forward position. I like MKG today. My concern is with Batum back, they don't need him as much. But to be honest, his usage isn't that high regardless. So I'm looking here for rebounds. I'm looking for some defense against Covington, who Philly does rely on to score. So I like MKG here. 4,700, small forward doesn't look too appealing once again today. It seems like it never really is. But I'm cool with MKG. I'm cool with him. I don't really like any of the power forwards for Charlotte. Just don't. I mean, Marvin Williams maybe, but now that Zeller's going to be back, I think that takes away from Kaminsky a little bit. GPP play, why not? 4,000 for Kaminsky, but if you have to go with the Charlotte power forward, which I don't think you do, but if you have to for any reason, maybe his salary just fits or whatever, I would take Marvin over Kaminsky today. I don't really have interest in Cody Zeller. I think that's pretty obvious. He's back, so that makes the matchup against Charlotte at center a little harder. But as far as him, man, he don't do nothing, man. There's nothing appealing about him to me. Even the way he looks is annoying. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, Philly, McConnell's in play, 5,400. He's obviously taken all the minutes from Sergio. So I think McConnell's in play at 54. I'm going to fade him. I think he's going to bust today. He just hit the buzzer beater against the Knicks in his last game. So I'm sure emotionally he got all high strung and was on his high horse and probably called all his people back in Wisconsin. Hey, man, I'm running Philly. I'm running Philly. I don't know if he has an accent. He probably doesn't have an accent. But I'm fading him. So if he does well, you can yell at me. It's fine. Find me on Twitter at CK_013. Yell at me all you want, but I'm fading him today at 5,400. don't like any of the shooting guards, goes without saying. I'm not big on Covington today because he's going to have MKG defense, and regardless, Covington is very hit or miss, man. If he's not hitting his shots, he's not getting his points. So, no thank you. Ilyasov is interesting to me. But he's another guy that his shot needs to be falling, but I think it's a decent matchup here. I'm not too worried about Marvin Williams or Kaminsky, and Ersan's been pretty solid, so he could be an interesting cash game play. I mean, in his since the 23rd of Phoenix, that was the last time he scored under 20 FanDuel points. Other than that, he's been over 30, I think, 3 times since then, and over 20 every other time. So I think Ersan's in play, 5,900. He's not going to kill you. Embiid is obviously he's the GOAT in this game. He's the one that everybody's going to want. He's the one that, rightfully so. I think he put a 40 against the Knicks, but that was a better matchup. Knicks are not good defensively against centers, so that was a much better matchup. So I don't know if I can expect the same production today. It's a back-to-back, so he's not playing tomorrow. He's playing today. So I would assume, despite his ankle or foot, whatever it was, I would assume that he's going to get his full run today. So he's definitely in play, but his price came back up. So I don't think he's the only option. Moving on to Brooklyn and Toronto. Total is 221.5. Toronto is favored by 16, I think. This looks like an ugly spot for Brooklyn. The back end of a back-to-back. They're playing a pretty good Toronto team. It's funny that Toronto is that good. There's really only 2 guys that do most of their production, and yet they get it done. Starting with the Brooklyn side. Don't like the point guards. That goes without saying. I guess if you want to get cute in a GPP, you can try Dinwiddie. Oh, God, man. You guys ever see that Key and Peele episode where they do the football players and all the names, and there's some like wacky names, you know? Maybe not. Spencer Dinwiddie, 4,000, and hasn't really shown any upside. His minutes have been up, but he's not getting really any upside. His price came up to 4. Nah, I'm not interested. Sean Kilpatrick. I think people were big on Kilpatrick yesterday, and he did okay. I don't like him today. With DeRozan defense, I don't think so. DeRozan's got a significant height advantage, I think. I'm not positive on that, but I don't like the spot. I like the price. I don't like the spot. Don't like any of the small forwards for Brooklyn. That's my problem. I don't really like anybody from Brooklyn. I just can't. I just don't see it. Obviously, somebody's going to score. I mean, this game isn't going to be. I don't think it's going to be a 50 or 60 point game. So somebody's going to score. It's just finding them. DeMarre Carroll is going to be covering Bogdanovich. I'm not into Booker today on the back end of a back-to-back. He did good for me yesterday, but don't want him today. Brook Lopez, I guess you could go with Brook Lopez. Let me see how centers do. This is our WiseTake DVP chart. Let me see how centers do against Toronto. So yeah, I mean Toronto's not too good defensively against them, so Lopez doesn't play. But if you've been listening to me for a while, then you know that I don't like playing big men on the back end of back-to-backs, unless I have to. If it's a small slate and you have no choice, I get it. But going back to Toronto, Lowry is obviously in a great spot. When is Lowry not in a great spot? But he's 9,200 in a game that will probably be a blowout. So I'm not really going to be too big on him today. DeRozan, 9,400. His price is extremely high. Same thing. Yeah, his matchup is great. I love his matchup. I'm just concerned that it's going to be a 30-point game. Now, the thing is, I honestly don't know what Toronto does in a blowout situation when they're winning. Like, will they pull DeRozan and Lowry? I think they will. If it's too out of hand, there's just no sense of playing them, and it's a good chance to play some of the younger guys. So, I don't know. It's tempting as it is to take those monster scoring kind of guys against this terrible defense in a pace-up spot. At home, I don't see how Brooklyn keeps this close. I mean, we'll keep going, though, but DeMarre Carroll's in an interesting spot. I like to pair Carroll with Lowry, reason being because Lowry leads the team in assists, and Carroll is very assist-scoring dependent, meaning most of his shots, made shots, field goals, come off of assists. So I think that's a good correlation with Lowry and Carroll. If you're going to play Lowry and GPPs, then why not try Carroll? Terrence Ross is interesting. Oh, you know who I forgot to talk about? I forgot to talk about Karis LeVert. LeVert is very intriguing to me because I know he's got the talent. He hasn't gotten the full run of minutes, and he's only shown that upside of 30 once. But that once was in 27 minutes against Cleveland. So They play him at the 3, they play him at the 2, they play him at the 1. He don't really have an identity with that team yet. But in the future, I think he could be somebody that's, worth rostering. Terrence Ross, I think GPP only, just because he's cheap and he's shown the upside. And if this game gets out of hand, I could see them giving Ross a bigger run. So I think he's okay for GPPs. But again, I'm not dying to play any of these guys. Don't get me wrong. Don't like any of the power forwards. Valanciunas 5,500. Brooklyn's the worst team in the league against centers, or one of the worst. I don't remember, but still 5,500, and he's shown some upside himself. His minutes make you worry a little bit because sometimes we've seen him play 22, 23. But if he's gonna get 38, 33, 31, 28, even if he can get 30, even in a blowout, I think Valanciunas can rock. So I kind of like him. Again, the blowout scares me, but matchup wise, he's cheap. He's in a great matchup. It's hard to pass. Moving on to Boston at Atlanta. Total is 213. Atlanta's favored by 2.5. Point guard is very interesting here. Isaiah Thomas, 9,000. I think he could be in one of the best spots tonight as far as matchup. I love targeting point guards against Atlanta. That's nothing new. Marcus Smart will be playing the 2. I'm pretty sure that what's his name? Avery Bradley is still out, so Marcus Smart should start at the 2. Atlanta's terrible against 2s, so I wouldn't even mind maybe playing Isaiah Thomas, Marcus Smart. 2 Celtics taking up your point guard spots. Marcus Smart 5,600. I would much rather play Marcus Smart today than TJ McConnell. I could be wrong. Maybe that's the chalky thing. Maybe that's what everybody thinks. But I like Smart way better than I like McConnell. So moving on to shooting guard. Don't really like anybody because Gerald Green's the only option. If he got run, I'd like him, but he don't get no run. Hate Jay Crowder. Officially hate him. Don't like him anymore. Doesn't mean I'm not going to play him regularly, but today I'm not because he's going to have Thabo defense. So definitely off him today. Moving on to power forward. Amir Johnson, I think. Oh, I forgot to go over the injuries, didn't I? So Bradley, Zeller, Amir Johnson are all doubtful. Jaylen Brown is questionable. Not too worried about Jaylen Brown. So you can go with Mickey if you want. He started last time for Amir Johnson. I don't know. They might go with Jaylen Brown this time. I'm not sure, but no upside. 14 minutes, 7.9 FanDuel points. Jerebko, I think he got some run. I don't even know. Really didn't pay attention last time, but yeah, he got some run, but he's got no upside. So what's the matter? Moving on to center. Horford has a matchup with Howard. I'll pass at 7,400. If he was under 7, maybe I'd consider it because the price for him would have been good, but over 7 for Dwight Howard. Don't get me wrong. I'm sure Horford would hit some threes. He could shoot out. Dwight Howard ain't getting out there. But the down low stuff, I don't know. On the Atlanta side, Schroeder is in probably just as good of a spot as Isaiah. Just because Isaiah, at his size, he's great to target point guards against 2. Sorry about that. I itch. Sometimes I forget that I'm on camera. Anyway. But yeah, Schroeder. Hardaway's interesting with Bradley out. 4,500. The defense gets a little lighter for him. The thing I'm concerned about is consistency with him. He hasn't exactly been the poster boy of consistency, although in his last 3 games he's been making a run. So I think he could be okay with Bradley out because Bradley is an okay defender, and you don't want Bradley on Hardaway, but Gerald Green or Marcus Smart on Hardaway, it's a little better. Yeah, not so bad. Bazemore is interesting, but nah. Thabo, nah. Paul Millsap's in a great spot. He's 8,100. I don't think anybody's going to have him. You got Westbrook going today. You got Harden going today. You got so many guys that are expensive. We went over the point guards. There's so many expensive point guards to have today. I don't think a lot of people are going to pay all the way up for Millsap. I just don't. Let's see. It looks like... Yeah, you look at some of these other power forwards. He's far and away in the best spot out of all the other power forwards. But like I said, you got to make a decision. Can you find value elsewhere so you can afford him? That's the question. So I think Millsap, if you could find a way to fit him in your GPPs, I think that'll be good, especially because Boston is missing their power forwards. But, of course, you have to worry about Boston trying to go small. And then where does that leave Millsap? So I think he's a good play, but he's going to be hard to fit in if you're trying to fit in some of those studs or even just the expensive point guards that are in good spots today. Moving on, center, of course, my bad. Howard, he's okay. 7,600, I don't think he's necessary, though. Boom, done. Memphis at Houston. Give me a sec to turn the page on my handy-dandy notebook here. Let me see what I got here. Miami and Milwaukee, 204.5. Milwaukee is favored by 7.5. Whew, Josh Richardson's out. Giannis is probable. Dragic is in a good spot, as usual. I'm talking about the wrong game. Did I just skip over? Yeah, my bad. Let's do Memphis at Houston. Total is 214. Houston -7. Eric Gordon is probable. I think Conley is in play. I don't love his matchup against Beverly, but Beverly, I don't know, man. He seems hurt or something, but he ain't been playing as well. He really hasn't. Tony Allen is cheap and in a good spot. He burned me bad last time he played. He burned me real bad, man. I'm not going to forget that. But 4,500, good matchup. Tough not to consider. And to be fair, the only reason he burned me last game was because of the matchup. They played Oklahoma City, and Oklahoma City went big. They were playing Cantor and Adams. And so Allen kind of got squeezed out. Oladipo got squeezed out, and they were using Allen for Oladipo. It seemed like whenever Oladipo was in, they put Allen in, and Oladipo didn't get that much of a run. So, I don't think he did. But, where are we? We are talking about Memphis and Houston. Chandler Parsons, man, I've been waiting to play him, but his minutes, man, dude, he must have really been hurt. They don't want to give him any run. 18 minutes, 16 minutes. What can you do with that? You can't really do anything. And it's a shame because he's not bad. He could get some shots. But anyway. So we talked about Allen. Don't like any of the small forwards. Zebo, I think, is an interesting spot. Just because Jermichael Green's okay, but we've seen his upside dip. His price is very attractive. So I think if he's going to keep getting 30 minutes, he could be a cash game play at 45. He's flashed some of that upside in the past, but I'm still waiting to see more consistency. But I do like Zebo. I think Zebo 5,900. He's going to cost you a pretty penny, but in a pace-up spot, he should get a lot of rebounds, maybe a lot of points. So, and he's shown some serious upside in these pace-up games. So I like Zebo, yes sir. Centers, Marc Gasol's in play, 8,200. I just don't like playing 8,200 for him. Don't get me wrong. I know he's good, and he's a pace-up spot also. And, don't get me wrong. I don't know. I just don't like. He's been consistent, man. He's been solid. I just don't like paying over $8K for him. Not that he's not worth it. I just don't think he's worth it. Does that make sense? You know what I mean? So he's in play. I'm not going to say he's not. I'm not going to tell you not to play him. Then, you don't play him and he crushes. If you want to play him, play him. I'm not playing him. On the Houston side, I don't want to play Beverly. He's 5,200. His price came down, which is going to make me think about him as we get closer to lock, especially if I hear, some of the guys I like are out or whatever. But he has not looked good. Connolly is not a good guy to target point guards against necessarily, and I think I'll pass on Beverly. But I like James Harden today. Who doesn't? Everybody likes James Harden. It's a pace down spot. I'm hoping people get scared off. I don't think they will. They're going to play him regardless, but I like him. Don't want Aaron Gordon. I know I like him in cash, but only because he's coming off an injury. Ariza's interesting, but he's going to have James Ennis covering him, and not that that's too scary, but GPP only for me. Ryan Anderson, GPP only, but I think he's interesting. It's going to depend. He's going to get bullied down low, I think. Innocent little white dude going down low. He's going to get completely bullied, but at the same time, the flip side, maybe he'll hit some threes. Maybe they won't be able to cover him out there. Little white guy sneak out the three-point line, bang. Maybe. We'll see. I don't know. But he's in playing GPPs. I like Harrell, not against Gasol. Number one, I think they'll use Nene a lot more for defense. And number two, Marc Gasol's not bad on defense. So I don't think I want Harrell today. I like him a lot, but I don't think that today. All right, now we're going to go to Miami at Milwaukee. Total is 204. Milwaukee is favored by 7.5. Richardson's out. Giannis is probable. Dragic is in play, but he has really not been Dragic lately. I don't know if he's frustrated. His price came down, rightfully so, but I don't know if he's frustrated or what his deal is, but he has not been Dragic-esque. With that said, I do like him today. I like him today against Brogdon. Brogdon's a rookie. I would assume that Dragic could take advantage of that. Tyler Johnson's okay, but he'll be matched up with Brogdon and Delly. Not too appealing. I'm not crazy attracted to him. Dion Waiters is back, and he's only 4,900. But he hasn't really been that big of a producer anyway. And his minutes are up. He's playing those minutes again. He played 38 against Golden State. That's good to see. So I think he's back in play. And at 4,900, if he's going to get those minutes with Richardson out, to me, he's a cash game play. I mean, 38 minutes? You give me 38 minutes. With Richardson out, with Winslow out, with McRoberts out, yeah, I'll take some of that. Of course, that all changes if he's going to be matched up with Giannis. And now that I think about it, I guess they'll have to match him up with Giannis. So scratch what I just said. I'm not putting Waiters in cash. Not doing it. Not if Giannis is going to match up with him. If somebody else is going to match up with Giannis, sure. But who else? Wayne Ellington? Who else is he going to cover? He's not going to cover Dragic. He's not going to cover Whiteside. The only other person that could score on that team right now is Waiters. So I'll pass if Giannis is going to be guarding him. Don't like any of the small forwards. James Johnson. Love James Johnson today. Jabari is not a good defender. James Johnson's only 5,800. They rely on James Johnson for pretty much everything, especially with Dragic not playing as well. So you would have thought his production would have been higher lately. It hasn't been. But it's enough. Cash game playable for me. He'll be in my cash games. I can pair him and Giannis and just be done. Pair him and Giannis, have a locked spot and be done. Center's Greg Monroe. I like Greg Monroe. 6,300. I know his price isn't so attractive, but they've been playing him a lot more. Finally. You know, I don't understand why they have him. Henson doesn't do anything. But yeah, I like Monroe. Well, you know, back to the point. 6,300. He's not going to kill you as long as he keeps getting his run. Whiteside's not a good defender. I don't care. I don't know what people maybe heard. He's a great offensive player. He's not a good defender. So I'll take Monroe. On the Milwaukee side, Brogdon, how you doing? No, thank you. Not a good matchup. Giannis, love Giannis. 10-6, give me some Giannis. He was sick, had a day off, then played 9 minutes in the next game because he should have had the day off. Give me some Giannis. Don't like anybody. Don't like Jabari's okay. I think 7,400 though. He's a little out of reach. It's not it's not a pace up spot. It's a pace down spot. I'd rather play Giannis anyway, and he's okay. Don't get me wrong. He's okay. He did good for me last time. No hard feelings. I love Jabari, man. I love Jabari. I really do. Not today. You could play him. I'm not saying not to play him. His upside is there. He's got massive upside. I mean, I'm looking at his game log, man. It's hard not to play him. It's really hard not to play him. But maybe I will play him. I don't know. It's hard today, man. Usually these 9-game slates are a little easier for me. It's not today. It's very hard today. It's interesting. Like some of these studs are in weird spots, and some of the guys I really like are, I don't know, man. It's tough. But Whiteside's in play, 8,600. Good luck trying to fit him. You obviously have to do more of a balanced approach if you want to fit him, which is very possible today if you can find the right guys, and that's the problem. Like, I love to say, oh, I'm just going to play Lowry and DeRozan over Harden and Westbrook. As risky as it is, let alone the fact that they're in blowout spots. I mean, 16 is the point spread. 16, that's a big point spread in the NBA. So it's not looking good for them. Moving on, we've got OKC at Minnesota. There wasn't a line for this game, so I got to pull this up real quick. And it looks like 208 is the total, and Oklahoma City's favored by 2. Okay, starting at point guard, Westbrook, which means he's in play. 12-8, very expensive, probably worth it. Hard to fade Westbrook, especially in cash. Not afraid of Rubio. Now this is interesting. See, I wonder if Rubio will cover him, or if they'll put Wiggins on him, or better yet, if Levine is back, if they'll put Levine on. I don't think they'll put Levine on him just because Oladipo is also a scoring threat. So I think that they'll keep maybe Wiggins on him because Roberson's not exactly a scorer. The thing is, and who can Rubio cover then? The only person height-wise he can cover is either Oladipo or Rubio. He can't cover Roberson, I don't think. So I would assume that Rubio covers Westbrook. If that's the case, how does Rubio possibly cover Westbrook? So I like Westbrook today, but you got to figure out the game theory. I don't think you have to play him. There you go. I don't think you have to. I think you could fade him. I think you could fade Harden. I think you can do a nice balanced lineup today. I don't know for sure. Anyway, Oladipo's in play. I like Oladipo a lot more if Levine is out, but Levine is a game time decision, so we don't know. If Levine plays, He's got pretty good defense. That's going to lower my like of Oladipo. But if he's out, I love Oladipo 5,700. I already said I'm not big on the small forwards from OKC. Cantor's interesting. Can't put him in cash because you never know with his minutes. But he's been playing phenomenal lately. And GPPs, man, 5,900, he's a way to go. It's interesting. Him and Ilyasova are the same price. So basically what you want to do in a GPP scenario is try to figure out which one of those two guys are more highly owned and take the other one, right? That's simple. Adams, still a good play. Cat's not a very good defender. Love Cat, not a very good defender. Adams is only 6,000, and he's been playing pretty well lately. I don't know how he did in his last game, so I'm pulling him up. And he did okay, but look at the minutes, 39 minutes. Granted, that was against Gasol, but now you got Cat. So another good spot, I think, for Adams. I think he can anchor your cash games for center if you want. On the Minnesota side, Rubio, he's coming off a great game. No, thank you. LaVine, if he plays, I like LaVine. Wiggins, I'm off. And I'm hoping LaVine plays because I would love to take LaVine. Really love to take LaVine in this game because I think Wiggins is going to have Roberson defense, and I don't want that. You know, I mean, they're just going to like shut each other down. I don't want any part of that. Gorgie, dang. 5,300, he's not going to kill you. But lately, he's been struggling. In his last two games, didn't play 30 minutes. And that's kind of been what everybody's thing with him is, right? Like, oh, he gets 40 minutes, put him in. He's not getting that, at least last two games. So I'm off him in cash. I'm off him completely. I just don't think you have to go there. Although, I will say that against Collison and Sabonis, he should be able to bully. But they bring in Cantor, and then there goes that. So, Karl Anthony Towns, the only other guy I like from Minnesota, 9,700. You're paying for it. But a lot of times, you know, lately, I'm telling you, whenever Harden and Westbrook are going, I've seen guys fade both of them and play a guy like Towns. Now, it worked last time. Probably ain't going to work this time, but not with Towns. But with somebody else, maybe. You know, I've seen they fade Harden, they fade Westbrook, and then they end up taking Towns and some balanced approach, and then they win a freaking 50 grand. So it's an option. Moving on to Orlando at Portland. We're trying to wrap this up. I know it's a lot of games today. There was no total last night on this game either. So, total is 212.5, and Portland is favored by 7. So, Damian Lillard, 8,300. I love the price bump. I love how the price came down, but I don't know, man. Orlando's they play so slow. It's such a pace down spot. But that's the discount you're getting with Lillard. So at 8,300, Lillard's definitely in play. Shouldn't be ignored at all. McCollum is going to have Fournier on him. I think he's still okay. I do. I think his GPP's only, though. Because his matchup isn't secure, that makes me worry about cash. But GPPs, sure. Yeah, he's got the upside. Aaron Gordon has been playing phenomenally. And if Ibaka is out, I'm going right back to Gordon. But if Ibaka's in, that's going to change things up. In fact, if Ibaka plays, Ibaka becomes the guy in a good spot. So we'll see what happens with him. Don't like Vooch. He's going to have Plumlee defense. Not interested. I talked about Lillard, and then I talked about Orlando. So I'm going to do that in reverse. I'm going to say Elf is in play, 5,600. Damian Lillard's not known for his defense. So I'll take some Elf in a pace-up spot at 5,600. I'll take some Fournier. McCollum's not a good defender. So, as you can see, I like the Magic guys. I know that Portland's favored, but this is a pace-up spot for the Magic guys. So, in my opinion, they're the ones who should be undervalued because their price is listed for regular game. They're in a pace-up spot. You see what I'm saying? More opportunities. You see what I'm saying? So, I like Fournier today. I like Fournier. I like Elf. These are all GPPs. Gordon, I could like in cash. Just going to throw that out there. But it's going back to Portland. Don't like Harkless or Turner. You could. I don't like him. If I'll take a Minu if Ibaka's out, but if Ibaka plays, I don't want a Minu. First of all, his price, I mean, that's a ridiculous rise, man. The dude was like, 46, 47? You're going to raise him over $1,000 in one day in a pace down spot? That's not right. I'm off of Minu. I'm way off of Minu. I don't like a Minu. I don't like his, I don't like the way he looks either. I mean, that doesn't matter. I keep saying that. Not that it matters, right? All right. Ugly mother. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, if Ibaka plays, I like Ibaka. I like Plum Dog. Orlando's terrible against centers. Plum Dog's a beast. Give me the Plum Dog. Give me the Plum Dog. I like the Plum Dog. We're going to move on to Detroit at Utah. Probably the ugliest game of the night. Total is 192. Utah is favored. It was 8 last night, but I think it's 10. Yeah, it's 10 now. Let me see. So I think the right way to go here is to fade it. Yeah, fade it completely. It's not exactly a hot take. The lowest total on the board. 2 slow-paced teams. One team is particularly good at defense. I'm going to pass. There's just nobody I want. There's just nobody that looks appealing here. I mean, even Reggie Jackson against Hill. Hill's okay, 6,100. He really burnt me against Cleveland, but 6,100, he's okay, I guess. But nothing that really excites you. Reggie Jackson, too. I'm not taking Reggie. 65, you got that Utah discount, but I'm not on the back end of a back-to-back. I'm not taking Reggie against his team. KCP, KC piece of crap. That's what I was calling him last night. A little more vulgar. I try to keep the language somewhat okay here. But you can imagine what I have a lot of things that I could say about KCP right now. It's not his fault. He got hurt. He got hurt. But I'm still very, very annoyed, at the very least, at Mr. KCP. So when he comes back, it's going to take me a while to play him again because, wow. Just think it. Let it go. Let it go. Let it go. Let's see. And I'm back. Marcus Morris, no thank you. Tobias Harris, no thank you. Drummond, no thank you. On the other end, George Hill, I said, is interesting, but Rodney Hood, you could find value in this game. Somebody's going to have to replace KCP. So who's going to replace KCP? It could be Darren Hilliard at 3,500 maybe. So you got to figure, if you haven't noticed, the trend is when there's an injury in cash games, everybody flocks to the guy who's picking up the minutes. So yesterday, a lot of people had Terrence Jones, which worked out great for him. But they only played him because AD was out. So Hilliard really hasn't done much with minutes. He played 26 minutes yesterday. So he's the guy that's going to get the minutes, but he really hasn't done much with it. Stanley Johnson's the guy I wanted to look at. I want to see how many minutes he played yesterday with KCP out. Oh, yeah. So here's the guy that I think in your cash games, if you're going to go this route for value, Stanley Johnson's the guy. He's 3,500. He played 38 minutes against Golden State. With that said, this is the back end of a back-to-back. He may not get those minutes again. And either way, I think Detroit's getting crushed. So to me, this entire game is a fade. Simple enough, right? Okay. Maybe Gordon Hayward, just because he could shoot. But nah, probably fading him. Favors is interesting. I think Favors could. Nah, I just don't see a reason. I said 9 games. Why this one? You know what I mean? Moving on to the last game of the night, we've got Cleveland at Sacramento. Total is 211. Cleveland is favored by 6.5 to 7, depending on where you look. There's no injuries, but you do have to wonder if they're going to rest anyone. They've been on this West Coast road trip, which is really taxing, and you've seen it. I think they lost. They got crushed by Portland. They lost to Utah. So Kyrie has not been playing well lately, and I don't think any of them really have, other than maybe LeBron. So, yeah. On Cleveland, I don't like Irving. Kyle Korver is interesting as a punt. If you really need a punt, 3,700. Sacramento is not very good against shooting guards. They're very bad against shooting guards, as a matter of fact. So if we look at the game log, we see 25 minutes against Portland. It's starting to creep back up. So at 3,700, if you want to put him in your GPP, I'm not mad at you. I'm not. Some value right there. You can't get mad at value. I like LeBron. Don't like Rudy Gay. Simple as that. Love LeBron. Don't like Rudy Gay. And the reason I like LeBron is because I don't think Kyrie has a great matchup with Collison. And surprisingly, the Kings are okay against power forwards. Not to mention that Love, he did warn everybody. He said he lost 10 pounds. That's how sick he was and all that. He has not been good. He has just not been good. He hasn't broken 32 games in a row. He's not been good. So I'm hoping one of these guys sits. If one of these guys sits, I'm obviously going to play the other ones. Or at least one. I'm hoping that maybe Love sits or maybe LeBron sits, and then I can just load up on LeBron. because I do like LeBron. And LeBron's got a little discount going today, 9,900. He's under 10. A guy that can easily put up 50 is under 10. So I love LeBron. Love LeBron today. Yeah, he hasn't been playing so well either, but I still love him. Against Portland, that was a 3-4 and the back end of a back-to-back. I think Cleveland comes out pumping tonight. Pumping. LBJ. Give me some LBJ tonight. All day. All day LBJ. Sorry about that. I know. That was bad. All for Kevin Love. The only center I like in this game is obviously Boogie. I like Boogie. I think that's a good way to go if you want that late night hammer. Maybe take a Boogie. Maybe take a LeBron and try to make it work from there. I mean, you got some money to it. And on FanDuel, you got 40 grand left. So fitting the Harden or maybe a Giannis or somebody, it'll be tough, but you could do it. Real quick before we get out of here, I want to go back to Sacramento. I like Collison today. If you're looking for a punt option at point guard, 4,400 for Collison on FanDuel. His minutes have been back up. I wasn't playing him for a while because Lawson kind of cut into his minutes, but now they've just been playing Lawson with him. So we've seen those minutes creep back up to around 30, sometimes a little more than 30. So I like Collison today. I really do. I know his last game he put up a stinker. That wasn't a pace down spot. But against Cleveland, a pace up spot, I like him, 4,400. Good matchup against Kyrie. He's one of their better defenders. I think they rely on him more. I like him. Anyway, that's going to do it for us here at WiseTake.com. Hope you enjoyed the podcast today. We did something a little bit different. Showed you my face for whatever that's worth. And yeah, that's pretty much it. If you like what you saw, subscribe to us on YouTube. Follow us on Podbean. Subscribe to us on, iTunes. And, of course, if you're not a member of WiseTake.com, please sign up. Membership is free. You get access to our free NBA cheat sheets and projection systems for FanDuel and DraftKings. You also get access to our forums. We're trying to get that going. So if you want to contact me, that's the best way to do it through there. Of course, you could reach out to me on Twitter at CK_013 or the WiseTake Twitter at Wise_take. But, yeah, that's going to do it. It's Friday the 13th, so be careful. And what else do you say? As always, good luck. Yeah.